Hello everyone. In this video, we're picking out and sharing the latest topics about Asia. From one of the most famous Reddit-style forums in Japan. Even if you don't understand Japanese, we've translated everything into English subtitles and audio. So you can join the conversation as if you were in Japan. So, let's dive into the discussions happening in Japan. China's state-owned railway company, China State Railway Group, is rushing through fare reforms. They've already hiked prices on major high-speed rail routes and introduced new high-end seat classes, while they've expanded their network to increase revenue. The debt they've accumulated has ballooned to over $800 billion.
Increasing prices in a country with so much poverty will just reduce usage even further, don't you think? Why does it even matter if they're in the red? It's state-owned infrastructure, so who cares? Because the government doesn't have infinite money. Trying to make the railways profitable on their own is impossible unless they only operate in urban areas. Is the Chinese Communist Party trying to ruin China? Sad. Privatization is the only solution. There aren't any profitable routes, so dividing them up won't work. They might ask Japan Railways to take over, or more like, push it onto them. It's Japan's fault for sharing Shinkansen technology with them. They might even try to sue us for damages. Honestly, I'd kind of like to see them try. It'd be a massive embarrassment on the world stage. In the end, it looks like we successfully backed China into a corner. From the perspective of Junior and Kawasaki Heavy Industries, they probably thought they were giving China outdated tech. But for a country with lax environmental and safety standards that doesn't value human life, it was more than enough. Huge, just like everything in China. As long as they can bury the creditors, there's no problem. This is all despite their cooked books. China's hiding the true money supply, and when that comes to light, it's going to trigger a global depression. Of course, there isn't enough demand for all that construction. Chinese people are all pride and no brains. This might be the start of a lost 300 years for them. Who are the creditors? Foreign investors? If it's foreign companies, they won't be able to default. At least, they shouldn't be able to. But we'll see. I rode a Chinese high-speed train about 4 years ago. It was normal for it to overshoot the platform by about 30 meters. And no one complained. Hundreds of people just sprinted to catch up, and it was hilarious. They built all those railways to sell them abroad. But did any actually get sold? Southeast Asia might have bought some. But Europe and the US didn't bite, so it's over. China wasn't allowed to bid on contracts because no one trusts them. They thought being cheap and fast would be enough to make sales. It's a wonder local governments haven't gone under yet. Communist states can just erase debt overnight. That's their strength. That's why Chinese elites are desperately moving their assets abroad and trying to emigrate themselves. Even Xi Jinping's wealth is in the US. If they raised taxes by $7,000 per person, they could probably cover it. They'll just type $800 billion into their digital yuan system, and done. Wasn't there anyone considering profitability? They might become the first country with over $100 trillion in debt. Some people seem to misunderstand this as like building aircraft carriers. It's all about corrupt officials lining their pockets. So whether it's in the red or not doesn't matter. That's the Chinese mindset. Are they still building? Can they even maintain the tracks? Eventually, China will lose all monetary credibility and return to a barter economy. To save costs, they've reduced some services to 1 train per day. That's pretty stingy. And it's only going to get worse with maintenance costs. It's laughable. They didn't even have to spend on R&D because they stole Japan's technology. They should start selling off parts of the country. They'll probably dump all the debt onto Tibet and Xinjiang, and let them go independent, or pile it onto Hong Kong and hand it back to the UK. They expanded way too recklessly. Same with the Belt and Road Initiative. Collapse was inevitable. If they have time to lay around, they should just start a revolution. They'd just get run over by tanks. China can seize the assets of past executives, so they'll probably confiscate all their wealth first. They said they learned from Japan's mistakes so they wouldn't fail like we did. So much for that. The stats are all falsified by corruption. So the reality is probably even worse. In the future, this might be called the Second Great Wall of China. Don't worry, Chinese people. If you just recite Xi Jinping thought that $800 billion in debt will disappear like smoke, just read it until it's the only thing you can think about. China was better off with bicycles and Mao suits. They overreached.
Did you find this video interesting? We'll keep bringing you fun topics from Japan's online community. Please subscribe to the channel and drop some comments.